Hillary Clinton is in Florida. She's set to speak in Coral Springs, Florida. Coral Springs, Florida. At this hour, you're looking at live pictures. There's Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's the Florida Congresswoman at the mic. They're trying to court the millennial vote, keep them involved in the election cycle. But is the American dream all but dead for this particular population group, the millennials? Only 39% of today's 25 to 34-year-olds own their own home. That's down from 12 years ago, when 50% of that age group owned their own homes, causing the homeownership rate to drop to its lowest level since 1965. Millennials just can't buy homes at this time. Why? Well, some say it's because they're stuck in low-paying jobs, burdened by massive amounts of student debt. High rent prices prevent them from saving. And on the other side, homes are just too expensive for them to afford. With the housing market moving forward, is there a way to help this generation move forward to buy their own homes? Joining me now on a Fox Business exclusive, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro. Great to have you, Secretary. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Liz.
I don't want to misstate the situation, make it sound worse than it is, but I'm just going by the numbers. How do you see it?
Well, we actually see some cause for optimism. A few months ago, the National Association of Realtors put out an analysis of millennials in the home buying market, and what they found was that over the last 3 years, the percentage of millennials as a share of the overall home buying market actually has improved each of the last 3 years. So while it's true that age group is not buying a home at the same rate that they were, let's say, in 2005 or 2006, it's also true that from 2012, 2013, 2014, we have been seeing an increase. And we're not just sitting around, we're also trying to ensure that we do our part so that responsible folks who are ready to own a home can do so. Last year in 2015, for instance, at FHA, we reduced the mortgage insurance premium to make it more affordable for first-time home buyers.
So let me jump in on that particular point, making it more affordable. Well, look, home ownership, and I truly believe this, home ownership is not a right, it's a privilege. We don't really want to get people into homes that maybe they can afford at that very moment, but if one bad thing happens in their world, one member of the couple loses their job, something happens, somebody falls ill and can't work, do we really want to push people back into the old habits that we saw during the housing bubble?
Of course we don't. And I would just say that those are two different things. Number one, we can make it more affordable, but also ensure that the safeguards that have been put in place stay so that we don't slide back to where we were 10 years ago. What we need to do is strike a strong balance between maintaining the lessons that we've learned and those protections, but then also providing greater opportunity for folks who are responsible, who could pay on a mortgage to be able to buy a home. So, for instance, at FHA, even though FHA, frankly, was not part of the problem, we never did the ninja loans, the no-doc loans. We've always had stronger underwriting. We introduced over the last several years a credit score floor. We required a greater down payment if you have a credit score that's less than 580. We required lenders to have a stronger net worth. So we have put safeguards in, the CFPB through Dodd-Frank, Fannie and Freddie. We learned lessons and we've put those safeguards in. We need to keep them, but we also need to work to ensure that folks who are responsible, who could pay that mortgage and want to buy a home, can do so. And that they can do it in an affordable way. That was the idea behind the mortgage insurance premium reduction.
I do love all this conversation about, oh, isn't this awful, millennials can't buy their own homes. I was 39 when I bought my first home because I was so paranoid.
Well, that's still young.
I was so nervous and paranoid that if, God forbid, something happened, I would be, you know, the only thing worse than being house poor is being in the poor house, and that you would lose the house and you would go into that sort of terrible situation and that spiral. But millennials, we know this, will be writing rent checks far longer than their parents did. Isn't this a broader issue of the economy and trying to figure out a way to generate better paying quality jobs?
Well, that's true, and that's why I'm so excited about the data that we have seen. Just last week, the Census Bureau reported that that more folks are earning more. The benefits of this growing economy are reaching out from the middle out. They're lifting everybody up for the first time in a while. Wages are growing. That's very important. At the same time, in the housing market, what we see is that single-family housing starts at the highest level they've been in about 9 years. Foreclosures are at the lowest rate that they've been in 9 years. Serious delinquencies are down. Just yesterday, for instance, I was in Fort Myers, Florida, and Fort Myers was basically the epicenter of the foreclosure crisis, the housing crisis a few years ago. President Obama visited that city about 3 weeks after he was inaugurated, and he said that doing nothing wasn't an option. Okay. Today, foreclosures have fallen, the housing market is much stronger, more people have opportunity in Fort Myers and across the nation because of strong steps that we've taken.
Well, just make sure that we're not falling into old bad habits. It's good to see you, Secretary. Thank you so much.